Good evening, everyone, and I would like to thank everyone, all of you guys, for taking time from your busy schedule to attend Voice Out. Before we begin, I would like to say, and I would just like to say to everybody to put their mic on mute. We will have a question and answer round towards the end of the session, which is when you can also switch on your cameras and also put on your mic. But right now, make sure that your mics are on mute so that you can hear both me and our speaker. So let's begin. Believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. The third color of the rainbow is green. And for me, it stands for faith. Faith is when you believe in the unseen. You love yourself when acceptance falls in place. And then you transform because you have faith. Hi, I am Rosy Bonita Fernandes, and I am your host and the founder of Being Beautiful. I am glad to introduce you my next speaker, Mrs. Shruti Patki-Rasal, who believed in herself and her capabilities to live the life she desired. Shruti is a Kathak dancer by profession, and the interesting part is she holds a science degree. Yes, you heard it right. She comes from a well-reputed family of doctors. However, in spite of all the society norms, she had the faith and belief in herself. Her life journey is an example of why people should live their dreams and not follow the rituals which a society makes us do. By the way, society is also you, me, and we make the society. So, Shruti, welcome to Voice Out.
Hello, Bonita, and thank you so much for inviting me today. And a good evening to everybody else who is present. Thank you so much for taking time out and today.
Shruti, so I just wanted to ask you, or I'll tell all my listeners here that the songs what I play before the show is every special song what I ask my speakers, what is their inspiration song, what is the song that they can connect to? Why? So why did you choose these two songs?
So the first song when it came out, Firework, I was really inspired by it because it is a motivational song and the lyrics really touched my heart. That's one thing. And so I wished to choreograph it one day.
Nice.
Right now, up till now, I haven't been able to do that, but in the near future, I'm sure I will. And the second one, Waving Flag, it was just, the tune just, it's so catchy. And it was the official anthem of the Football World Cup. I think in sometime in 2007 or 8, I'm not sure. But came out, I fell in love with that song, and I used to listen to it on loop. And finally, when I had the resources and the time, I finally could choreograph it. And whenever I listen to the song, I think about the choreography, and I just get motivated all over again.
Oh, so I think I would love to see your choreography on this song. I don't think I have seen it personally. So if you can share it on our WhatsApp group, all of our participants can be.
Sure. It is there on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Okay, great. So
I'll share the link.
Okay. So Shruti, moving ahead, my first question to you is these are my favorite. First two questions are my favorite questions, by the way. So I think when we spoke first, we met, during our drama therapy classes, firstly, and when I approached you for Voice Out, you basically told me that you always wanted to tell your story. you manifested this in your life. So why did you wanted to be on Voice Out? Why did you choose, or why did you agree to be on the show?
So when I first saw your post on Instagram that you're starting with this show, I read it and I was like, wow, it will be so nice if I'm invited to speak on this show. And that was the same evening you connected with me, and it was like something just clicked. So what I believe is, so many people come to me with questions, and they ask me how did you deal with your family, how did you convince them, how did you deal with certain issues which junior artists face, financial issues, emotional issues, social issues. So I thought that there has to be somebody who actually talks about it, because it is kind of a taboo subject in this in the arts society. Nobody ever talks about their struggles, or nobody ever talks about uh, maybe people criticizing them or trying to bring them down.
True.
So I thought it is important for everybody to um, I, I thought it was important for me to just put it out there and to say that it is so important that you are surrounded by people who make you want to create, especially when you're an artist. And if you are not surrounded by such a crowd, then maybe it's time to change places.
Very inspirational, yeah, right. It is important. I mean, I think many people speak about, you'll hear about success stories, but I very rarely read about failures. I don't think people
Right.
post their failures on social media, and all they post is their success, what they have achieved, and what if they have bought a new phone, or they bought a new car, or they have a new girlfriend or a boyfriend. But
Absolutely.
people don't post about breakups. They don't post about their loss. uh, I think very rightly said. I mean, if at all you're not enjoying what you're doing at that moment, you need to change.
Yeah.
Shruti, so I wanted to ask you, you have been also following my page, Being Beautiful. So what
Right.
comes to your mind when you hear the word being beautiful, or what is your first impression about being beautiful?
My first impression was, it is such a nice gesture to just um, start a page. And because coming out is very difficult, everybody wants to, but everybody cannot, due to restrictions others put on them, or maybe they themselves put on them. So my first impression was actually that women are just said to, we are the popular gender when it comes to gossip. And so we just try to uh, pull each other down, and it
Yeah.
might be true in many ways. I am not denying that. But yes, our gender is more linked with that kind of with that mannerism. And so I felt that it is more important for us to just be out there and try not to pull each other down, but to lift people up. And it is time that we stop, posting negative things, or and people are just talking about feminism and this and that. Feminism is good, but it's not anti men. Most
Yeah.
people just interpret it as anti men. So I am a feminist, yes, but I'm a feminist in a being beautiful kind of a way. I hope you get what I'm trying
Wow,
to
I've not heard that
say.
before.
Yeah, so it's really a beautiful and motivational page.
Thank you so much. Well, for those who are not following me, or who don't know what my page is about. Well, being beautiful is about self-acceptance. Okay, I think it is very important for us as individuals to accept ourselves, and acceptance is the answer to all your solutions, including this pandemic. I think I've said this on all my shows so far. This is my fourth episode, by the way. So if we accept that this is what is our situation, this is what is the person, or this is it, that's it, it solves your problem. And I have applied that in my life personally, which is why I am come out in open and I'm speaking about it. So I want to reach out to as many as people I can, uh, people who can express, to inspire. We basically get inspired by small little things in life. We don't need to have an like a celebrity icon or some very famous idol. We get inspired by maybe your house help, maybe your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister. uh, in fact, today I have been inspired by a very, very special friend of mine, uh, who, the way she dealt with the situation and the life challenged her with, well, it's something very personal, so I'm not able to share the, details of the situation. But being at a particular age and dealing with something with an, brave heart, it really takes, you really need guts. And that is what I'm trying to bring out to people, and I'm trying to reach out, because I think it is very important to speak. If you speak up, that is when you reach out. And I think that is the, that is my aim, and that is the whole motto of this particular show. So Shruti, moving forward,
Great,
I
great.
know a little bit about your story. So why don't you tell our viewers or our audience today what is your story and why therapy is important, very, very important.
Yes. So, you know, before before I begin my story, I would like to say that we were raised by a generation where speaking up was maybe not allowed, or not, it was not a regular practice. So that is why it was regular for them, and it was normal for them. And when our parents raised us, very few households, I have seen very few households where actually depression, or anxiety, or any personality disorder is actually addressed or accepted. Many people are just in denial that, no, I don't think I have this, or no, I don't think my child has this.
Yes.
Or it is also such that it is, people look at have such disorders, they look at them as crazy people, just named crazy. Or people who visit a therapist, or people who visit maybe a psychiatrist, they're just termed crazy. And that is why the entire society has tabooed, and it's not much discussed. Therapy, what I think is, it helps rebuild your trust, because whatever, so it's always an action and a reaction. Okay, so you are acted upon by something or someone, by some situation, and your reaction to it is developing maybe insecurities, or mistrust, or whatever disorder you might have, or um, anxiety levels, your anxiety levels might rise because of that. So
Yeah.
therapy is basically, it helps you to unlearn that. It tries to show you that the world is not revolving around you, it's not revolving around the insecurities which you have. You can also look at the other side, which is brighter. And it kind of helps you to get rid of the doubts which are pulling you down. It starts a healing process within you, which is very, very important, because if you yourself are broken, then you're just going to end up hurting everybody, just like a piece of glass. So if the glass is broken and anybody tries to touch it, you're going to hurt yourself. So
Wow.
unless you heal yourself, you're
Yeah.
just going to keep hurting everybody around you, and which is which is really, it's not a good environment to be in. So that's
Yeah.
why therapy is really, really important.
Yeah, I think, and we should normalize taking therapy because, once I have been taking therapy for a couple of months now, and at one point of time I was the one who required therapy. In fact, I still require sometimes, because depression is not something which is going to ever go. Depression is always going to stay in your life. You just learn how to deal with it. You just learn how to face situations and face those challenges. Depression is not going anywhere. That is what my therapist also told me. In fact, Dr. Tanuja Prem was my second speaker. So any of you
Yes.
guys would love to see her, she is, I upload all my episodes on YouTube. So you can even watch these episodes on YouTube. And it was a lovely session where she spoke about mental health. So yes, coming back to your question, and sorry, your answer, very rightly said, is because I think we live in denial. We as humans, it is a human nature to firstly deny, like, no, no,
Right.
no, 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 I'm fine, nothing is wrong with me, I'm okay, I don't think there is anything wrong with me. It takes time. It took me 2 years to accept that I am going through depression. But there is a difference with depression and sadness as well. So people need to understand that.
Mhm.
For that, people need to see a therapist. So it
Right.
is, we should normalize, because when I remember, when I told one of my family members that I have a therapy session today. So they're like, huh, what you're taking therapy? This is only for rich people. I was like, excuse me, I've been going through something and I need a therapist, which itself says, what kind of situation or mindset I am. So I think it's very important, very, very rightly said. And I love the way you answered it, Shruti, because we need to normalize seeing a therapist, because it's absolutely fine. It's not like only mad people need therapy. It's nothing like that. You can be as normal as you look, but you don't know what's going on in the inside. Never. It's a very famous saying: never judge the book by its cover. So I think it fits that
Right. Right.
definition very well.
So it's basically just, you don't need to actually, everybody might not need to actually go and see a professional therapist. A
Yeah,
therapist can be your friend, your brother, your sister, your husband or wife, or one of your parents, or both of them. It's just talking is therapeutic. That is what I believe in. Or many people have coping mechanisms. They can write, they can,
yeah.
just
That is
express
my coping
themselves.
mechanism. Yeah, basically, writing is what I think that was that. I keep saying writing is my therapy. In fact, you have art therapy, you have drama therapy, of where is where
Right.
we connected. You have so many types of therapy. You just need to go ahead and explore it. That's all.
Right.
So, Shruti, I think I'll move to my next question. Now, we all know here that you're a very beautiful Kathak dancer. And
Thank you.
what is the biggest challenge faced while choosing Kathak as your career? And how did you overcome it?
Well, there are more than one, to be honest. So the first and foremost was, convincing my family. That was a very big challenge for me because both of them being doctors, and my tai and my jiju, they are working in the IT sector. My uncle, he is, in medical research. He's in the US. So everybody comes from a really academic background. And when I told them that I wanted to pursue a career in arts, they were a little bit skeptical, which I think is natural for parents because, as I said, in the 90s, or just when during 2004 5, it was not a very common profession to be a dancer, or it wasn't, people were still, or the society was still, I will say, narrow minded as compared to what we see today. And it wasn't looked, the profession was not looked upon as a respectable one. That is also one thing. And many of my relatives, they used to come and they used to talk to me about it. And one of them actually said that, you are going to pursue a career in dance. Nobody wants to marry a dancer. Who's going to marry you? And I was so taken aback. I was like, the aim of my life is not to get married. I hope you know that. It is to lead a happy life. So that was an incident which actually I remember. The second one, I think, was when I started actually training professionally. I found it really hard to balance my social life with my training in dance, because um, I was getting a science degree. I was also teaching dance, assisting my teacher over there. I was also attending classes and all of that. So I really couldn't make time for my friends and, all the social activities which people who are 18 or 19 usually do. I didn't have time to go to movies or, have lunches and dinners, because, I was always doing something or the working somewhere or the other. So that was a very big challenge, I thought, and that actually got upon me a lot of loneliness, because every now and then, what you think about. So when I think about my college, I really don't have a group as such, when I uh, my degree college, because even for the lectures, I had special permission to leave lectures just to attend my practice. So that was, that was a bigger challenge. And then you don't get invited to parties because, you're not that close to that person. You're not invited to get-togethers because, you're not a part of that group anymore. So that was a really socially challenging situation for me. And the third thing, I will say that being overshadowed by others, that was it was a long phase in my dancing career. And that really pushed me to a point where I actually wanted to give it up. That, I just thought that no, maybe dancing is not made for me. Dance is not made for me. Maybe I should have chosen something else over that. Maybe, I should have just pursued an engineering degree like everybody else. But yeah, I managed to, crawl through that, thankfully.
Great. Well, this is the reason why when you shared your story with me, in fact, even without knowing your story, I just had this intuition or a gut telling me, like, I don't know, I feel that your story is going to be inspirational. It's not that I knew you from before; we just connected, and
Yeah,
here we are. So, I think we all of us do this. Like, for example, the society tells us, like I said, the society is you and me. Society is not somebody else. So the society
right.
tells us, or I rather say you and me. We make the society. So it's like he's doing this, see this one's son, what he's doing, or see that one's daughter, what he's doing. Why do you have to look at somebody else's son or daughter? You look at your own son and daughter and see what they want to do. Help them in what they want to achieve. Don't put your dreams on your children, because I think they, as individual, when they grow up, they have their own dreams. Let them build their identity. Don't give them your identity uh, just because you're a bigger person. It's fine. Maybe he can start from a
Absolutely.
scratch. That is I think it's important for people to know this, and I thought I would definitely make a mention
Yeah,
on this episode about that. So, Shruti, how did you deal with the
absolutely,
criticism
absolutely.
from the family? In spite of being so talented in what you were doing, you were not appreciated. You also told me that you were criticized many times. So, dealing with criticism is not at all easy. It's not. It's not at all easy. Many people deal with it. So, how did you deal with it?
So there is a very thin line between constructive criticism and destructive criticism, right? And many don't realize when they just overstep it. Sadly, I was, on the receiving part of the latter one. And I just kept practicing, I was like, I don't want to engage in anything, because being a junior, you can't, it's difficult for you to express, what you feel, because as we've already spoken about this earlier, um, you just have to keep your mouth shut and listen to whatever your seniors tell you to do, and just, do whatever they are doing, because that is how it is. And so I just kept practicing. I'm also a big fan of Rahul Dravid, and I used to, I read his biography, and then I used to think about him, that, whenever people sledge him, whenever any bowler sledges him, he just lets his bat talk. He doesn't, engage in all of that. So that point I had in my mind, and I just kept practicing. And I topped the master level exams of two universities. Okay. And I also ended up passing the net exam. But
Okay.
even after that, the criticism just didn't stop. People weren't satisfied. And I'm not talking about my parents. They were really proud. And, whatever competition I used to enter in, I used to either get the first place or the second place. Very rarely the second, I'd like to point out. And all of these competitions were freestyle dance competitions, where I used to perform pure Kathak.
Okay.
College competitions or district level competitions, or state level competitions. Mood Indigo, which is a very popular event of IIT Bombay. So some people, some seniors, they, the criticizing just didn't stop. So that is when I told myself that some people are never going to be satisfied. I need to draw a line somewhere where I can have my peace of mind, and I just, stopped thinking about getting anybody's approval. I have my parents' approval and support, and I think that's enough. And my parents were really, really supportive during this time, because I used to break down so often. And as I said, I was almost at the point of giving up. That there was a point where I was like, no, I don't want to tie my dungaroos anymore. I'm just going to lock them away. And now when I think of it, I'm like, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that. I'm so happy that, I just kept going on. And yes, in the end, I had to make a very hard decision of um, cutting few people off from my life.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very, very big moment for me. And even after that, it has still been going on, because people just don't want some people just don't want to see you progress. That's just how it is. And I have experienced this so many times, while let's say, while organizing exams for my students, people are not willing to lend me their places for rent to conduct the exams. I've been through that. Then I've been driven out of places I have rented for my class. I've been, and once or twice I can just uh, go over it as and not talk about it, just thinking about it was a coincidence. But it has happened 4 times. I'm not kidding. 4 times in 4 years. So I was like, okay, there is, something is not right. But then I was like, that's okay. I'll deal with this also. And now it's the age of online classes. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I like the way you keep saying that, it's okay, I'll deal with it. It's okay, I will, get through it. It's it's not, like about giving up. And I think quitting is never an option. Now there is a joke attached to it, because once, I think in one of my episodes, I said quitting is not an option. So one of my friends told me, I'm planning to quit cigarette. So you don't want me to quit? So I was like, you know, this is how some people take it. So I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I mean. Quitting when you are fighting your challenges is not an option. You have to keep fighting, and we need to always know this, that after every storm there is a rainbow, and no storm is permanent in your life. uh, it ends one day. It might not end one day on the second day, on the third day, but it will end one day. So you have to keep fighting, keep searching, and keep being your own rainbow, which is my blog's theme actually. So
Wow.
Shruti,
So I
yeah.
would like to add a point over here. So if you take a look at my YouTube channel, most of my choreographies are on motivational songs. Okay, Bavaraman Dekhne Chalai, flag is there. Then there is this Let It Go,
Oh, that's my
which
favorite.
is Demi Lovato from the movie Frozen. Yeah, yeah. Then Asha Ek Khile Dil Ki. I just, I'm so attracted towards motivational songs and all of the, bringing people up and creating positivity, that I end up choreographing them.
Wow, that's a different way of spreading positivity, by the way. I must tell you, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Means a lot.
Okay, Shruti, moving to my next question. Why is it important for all, including, adults, not only children? We say follow their dreams, let go of the fear of failure, setting the right examples for our children. Why is it important? Can you throw some light?
Yes, because um, from the very beginning. So I think I was in eighth standard when I knew that I want to do dance, and there was never any other thought in my mind about what I wanted to do, and I was very very focused about it. But um, I can see many people, they're kind of searching for what to do, what their dream is, and most of their time, especially children, it's difficult for them to identify what they want to do, because parents often, as you said, that look at his son or look at her daughter. Parents more than often, what they do is they tend to compare their children, and they push their children in one direction. They try to push them in one direction. So if the child does not know the other direction at all, he or she does not know that there are different choices, on that side as well. So he or she will not be able to make that decision. So more than often, parents are the ones who choose what the child's dream is going to be. That is what I feel. And going ahead, that child is going to, because it's not going to be something, if it is not something which they love, it might be something which they love, but if it is not something which they love, they're just going to end up being depressed, or in spells of anxiety where they don't know what to do, because they don't know that that an option exists.
Yeah.
And people, just having a 9 to 5 job, I let us be very very candid here. 9 to 5 does not actually mean 9 to 5. It can go up to 7 o'clock sometimes. Now I have my husband's example. He used to work till 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, sleep for like 2.5 hours, and get up again and start working at 8 a.m. just because uh, some data set was due, and he had to some presentation was due. So it's it's really difficult for me to see people who are, I'll say, stuck in the life which they do not want. And if whenever I tell that yes, I am a dancer, I own my time, I can do whatever I want. I can maybe, if I'm not feeling well, I can adjust my classes. I'm not bound to anything. And dialogue in, I think it is in Three Idiots. Amir Khan says that, you should go and follow your dreams. So, काम काम नहीं खेल लगेगा. So it does not, it does not tire you. You actually, when you put your heart into it, when you put your soul into it, it actually ends up giving you much more than you are giving it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, I hope the listeners as well are agreeing with Shruti, because it's wonderfully put up. Well, Shruti, what is this is my last
Thank you.
question to you. Then we'll take questions from our audience. So, what was your coping mechanism during your tough times?
Practice, nothing else. I just kept on practicing. Like, one thing I used to take up, and even though I could do it properly, I used to do it 50 times, 100 times over. When I was satisfied with that, or when I was like, okay, now enough, I have to move to something else, I just picked up another piece and I started practicing. I just never stopped.
Yeah, because you didn't want to quit. You just kept going, and I think you're still doing that. Well,
Yes,
I
yes, I
think
am.
we as individuals have different coping mechanisms. We just don't know, that that is our coping mechanism. It's very
Right.
less spoken about, uh, about this word. In fact, what is coping mechanism? Basically, coping mechanism is uh, or a way to find a way to your problems, like find a solution to your problems. And it can be anything. It can be dancing in front of the mirror, it can be sitting alone enjoying a cup of coffee, it can be not talking to people. It does not have to be very fancy. It can also be
Yeah,
like cooking. uh, it can be cleaning your cupboard, or cleaning, or
absolutely.
organizing. So it can be anything. I think we as individuals need to find what is our coping mechanism. Once you accept, and things get really really easier. So
Absolutely.
Shruti, we would like, okay, now Shruti is going to answer few of the questions from our viewers. If anybody would like to put their cameras on, I'm also taking pictures from my phone because I'll be posting this. So it would be great to see who are Shruti's audience, and if you can put your camera on, smile for her, ask her a question. I have a question in the chat box which I'm going to read very soon, but anybody who would like to put their cameras on? I guess we have a bunch of shy people. That's fine. I think
Or
I,
maybe I've just managed to answer all your questions so perfectly that nobody has any questions
of course,
anymore.
of course. And I think even I would be quite shy. Actually, I'm a quite shy person as well, so I can relate to everyone. Well, we have a question from Akshata. She says,
Mhm.
when you say a therapist, do you mean talking to a person in that profession?
In that profession, as in profession of therapy,
I guess that is a
Akshata,
question.
what do you mean?
Akshata, if you can just put on your mic, and if you don't mind, because I think Shruti needs some kind of clarification.
Yeah, hi, this is Akshata here. Hi, Shruti ma'am. So when we
Hello.
talk about depression and everything, so do you think we have to talk to a person who's in that profession, or somebody within our family? Whom do we generally go and address this to? What should be our first thought?
The first thought is, somebody, I think that you should go to somebody who is not going to judge you. That who is not going to judge you, because that is a very important thing. as we have spoken about this earlier also, most people are in denial. Okay, they're like, नहीं, depression जैसा कुछ होता ही नहीं है. There is nothing ऐसा नहीं है. And most people, they're like, therapy or whatever is just for crazy people. So they are in turn judging you. So I think it is very important to find such a person. And especially if you are talking to a therapist, that that person is a neutral person. He or she just going to end up helping you. He or she is in the profession of not judging people, but to give them the push which they need in the right direction. So if a family member or a friend is helping you out, or who you feel comfortable with, that's great. But if it is not helping, then yes, I would personally say that you need to go and see a professional therapist.
Right. This answers me, because sometimes we cannot identify if my husband is the right person to talk to, or could be my parents can't be, because they might not understand me. And sometimes my husband might say, no, you're just thinking or overthinking. Maybe nothing is wrong with you, but I want someone to hear me. See, as I'm learning Kathak, okay, so I'm learning something because I want to come out of something. So it's not I want to be a professional, or probably I don't want to be a dancer in my future, maybe. But this is something where I want to distract myself during a certain period of time. And then I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to give my best. But then somewhere someone sees it as if you're wasting your time. This is not the way you try to come out of something like a depressive feeling. Maybe people around me might be thinking, so which I can see. So when I have to talk to somebody, fortunately, my husband is supportive. But sometimes when I say that, say I'm slightly depressive, I want to get out of this, or I'm trying to get into dance or music or something which I'm interested in, he does say is yes. But sometimes he has an expression that probably this is not the way you have to solve the problem. So I'm not finding the right person to talk to. So is it wise to get to a person in that profession, or is it wise to talk within the family? That was a confusion. So that is the reason I asked you, how did you choose to talk to somebody during such situations? I hope I'm clear, because I've put in multiple words.
Yes. So basically, none of my family members are even remotely related to arts. Okay, so I cannot make them to understand the problems which I went through, because we have the Guru Shishya Parampara in the classical arts, and that is not something everybody experiences. So I used to go to my parents with certain problems, but even though they used to give me the solutions, I realized that they were not actually understanding what problem I have, because they were relating it to what their experience was in the medical field, or in, when they were receiving medical education. So that was, that was the time when I thought that, maybe asking my parents isn't going to help. Maybe I need to ask somebody else who might be able to understand. That's when I talked to Anand Chabukswar. He is a drama therapist, and he used to teach us during our masters. So what he told me was, one of his lines, I've always remembered this: the victim becomes the oppressor. So if you have been victimized, most of the times you think that that is the way of life, and you end up oppressing other people, when you go up to that when you go up to that stand. So when I talked to him, I felt really better, because he came from an arts background. He could understand my problems and provide me proper solutions to them.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Great. Shruti, I would like to add something here. See, when you can talk to anybody from your friends, family, who you can confide in and who will not judge you. Okay, that is fine. But when you reach a stage of suicidal, when you have suicidal thoughts, okay, when you have thoughts of harming yourself, you definitely need to see a therapist, because a person, your friend, or even for that matter, your husband or wife or anybody might not able to help you. They will be in a helpless situation, but a therapist very well knows how to get you out of a situation like this. But why wait for anybody to reach that stage of suicidal, or why do we have to wait? So you can, if you feel and you have accepted, once you're out of denial, like Shruti said, once you accept it, see a therapist, and there's no harm and nobody is going to judge you. A therapist never judges, by the way. Okay. We have a comment from Suchita. She said, I don't have a question but a comment. I am a depression survivor. Wow. This is like a perfect line. I am a depression survivor myself. Oh, 1 second. The comment went top. I'm a depression survivor myself, and it would not be a remiss to say that Kathak saved me. Shruti Tai is a wonderful dancer, but it's also her motivational and honest attitude that drew me to her. Wow.
Suchita is a wonderful student as well. And thank you, Suchita. You're too kind. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Each of my students, I may be teaching batches, but each of my students mean a lot to me.
Yes. That's the connection you have with your students. I think that is why they all are here. They are all here to support you, and that itself shows, what you mean to them. Well, we have one more from Sukriti Datta. I have been in therapy for a couple of years for anxiety and depression, mostly anxiety, though, and even though I'm just 4 classes with Shruti as my instructor, dance is such a stress buster, all and any forms, but for now, her classes help offer structure and training, and loving it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sukriti. I enjoy teaching your batch as well. And Sukriti is so dedicated. She had a physical, I think a small, but nothing too serious. And then she came back and she joined classes again. And, I was really happy. And some of my students, when any of my students are returning.
Yes, yes. Well, I think, depression and COVID are very similar. Neither depression nor COVID is going anywhere, and we need to accept that. All we need to learn is how to live with it, how to face this situation, and how to come out stronger on the other side. We all have that strength from within, that light from within, to fight any kind of situation and any kind of challenges that life throws at us. Well, so we are almost winding up now. So, Shruti, thank you so much for being on the show today. I would like you to close us with whatever is on your heart, mind, and once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bonita. Thank you for inviting me here today. And as I said, it was just something which the universe wanted, because I looked at the poster. I thought, yes, I want to be on the show. And yes, I was contacted by Bonita Fernandes that very evening. So it was really great. And so what I would like to is just don't be in denial. If you are, or if you yourself are suffering from any disorder, or anybody else who is suffering from some, the solution is not going to be just snap out of it, or just do this, try to think positive, try to do this, try to do that. So one of my friends was actually going through a very tough situation, and a similar situation which I had been through. And then I just told him that there is no way around it. You can choose to think something else, yes, but you can't force yourself to be positive. This is something known as catharsis. वो जो negativity है, whatever negativity you have, you need to cry it all out, or maybe, whatever your mechanism is, the rage or anger, you need a medium to let it all out. It might be dance, it might be painting, it might be exercising, it might be anything.
Okay.
Traveling, maybe just, sitting in a place
Yeah.
and closing your eyes, whatever. But you need to go through that. There is no way around it. You have to pass through that difficult time, and later on you can, actually start thinking, okay, I'm done, I'm done crying or whatever, I'm done being angry. Now I can proceed to the next stage, which might be choosing to think differently. So that's what I tell everybody, that I forgot who said this, but this is a very famous quote, that that's the magical ability of a human mind, that it has the power to choose one thought over the other. Right? You can choose to not think about something, and you can choose to think about something else. So I follow that myself, and I keep reminding my friends about it. So I think that's it. And thank you everybody for joining today.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your comments. And
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I might not able to read all the comments due to the time restriction we have, but Shruti can read them personally. This is a recorded
yes,
episode. Well, I have a very small exercise for everyone here. Since we spoke about coping mechanism, I'm not sure if everybody knows or they don't know, but why don't you search what is your coping? If you know, then very good. But if you don't, find your coping mechanism. And, that's where the answer lies. If you want, you can share it with us we have a WhatsApp group. I'm not sure if all you guys are there on the WhatsApp group, or you can share it with Shruti, or you can share it with me. And it would be great to know what are the coping mechanisms for people around, because it's really lovely to, know all these things. Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, and have a lovely weekend, guys. Please stay safe, wear your mask, and protect yourself and your family. Have a lovely weekend, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.